Okay. Today we see how to create a form validation. First we let's see the requirement. Create a form to get all user input. First we create a form. Inside form we have the first name, last name, email, checkbox, radio, command and drop down element. Next thing, use only HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We can create the form validation. Use only HTML, CSS and JS file. Next thing, on clicking the submit button, perform form validation if first name, last name, email fields are entered. The user submit the user click the button submit button. That time first name, last name, email will be validated. If user did not enter value, then we show error dynamically, like name is required, like that. Okay. Then create a span tag dynamically if above field. If above field are not entered means we create a span tag for display the error. Then on clicking on the cancel button, want to clear the all input field from the form. If I clear another button is a cancel button. If I click the cancel button means it will remove the all inputs. Okay, I explain detail. Okay, okay. First we need first name, right? First we create a form tag. We need a first name. First name. And second thing is a last name. Okay, we create a first name, last name. Next, email, input field, input text for email. Next, we create a I create a first name, last name, email. Next, I have to create checkbox. Okay, option. Okay. Option one, option two, option three. This is a checkbox, right? Okay. Next thing, what try to create? Next thing, we have to create a radio command and drop down. Okay. Next, I have to create a gender. Gender, I am using the male and female for by putting male and female in radio button. Okay, this is the radio button. Radio. In third one, I create a command. The one create command create a input text area for command. Okay, I create a first name, last name, email, checkbox, gender, and third one, sorry, the last one is command, and the final one is a drop down. I create a drop down. Okay, I create a drop down. If I click the drop down, the options are shown. If I select that, options are showing inside the element. What are the things I have to show? Option 1, option 2, and option 3. Okay, next I create a button, two button. I create a two button. One for submit, other one for cancel. This is the requirement. We have to create this form. Okay, if user submit the button, first name, last name, email will be validated. If user not entered any value, then it display the error message. Okay, this name is required. Okay, first thing what are the things we do? First, if user if user click the button, click the submit button, user click the submit button, first name, last name, and email fields are validate. Okay, first thing we have to display the error. How will display the error? Using DOM. Okay, these things we will, what are the things we'll do? Display the error and using DOM. How I have to interact with the DOM using JavaScript to manipulate the DOM. Okay, the example, first name, last name, email, the values are entered that time. we create a table, right? We create a table. Okay, this is the requirement. Now let's see how to code and open the VS Code. Here I will open a index.html. Next one, style.css, and next one is script.js. Inside HTML, this is HTML texture. Head body. In body I create a form tag. Inside form tag I create a ID my form. Next I create a label for first name. Label for first name. First name. Next I create an input type for first name. Input type will be a text. ID will be a first name. Name will be a first name. Second, I create label for second name. Last name. And input type text. ID equal to last name and name will be a last name. Third one I create email input. So I use label for email. For email input type is email and name will be a email. ID will be a email. Third one I create a checkbox. Label for checkbox. First name email, input type mail. Okay. Label for checkbox is select. Here I create a input type. Input type will be a checkbox and name will be a checkbox and ID will be a options. Okay, here I give option 1. In second I create the input type checkbox, name will be a checkbox, and id will be a option 2, and give value. We add value attribute also. Option option 2. Next thing I have to create. Now just I run the web page. Okay, I create a first name, last name, email, select option. Okay, I break the line. This BR tag, break the line. You see the first name, then the last name come to under last name, right? Using BR tag. We also use BR tag. Next thing I will use here BR tag. Select BR. Now it's looking good. Okay. Next one, I create a radio. First I label for gender, input type is radio. Next input type name will be a radio, and value, sorry, and the id will be a mail. Next input type radio, name will be radio, and id will be female. Okay, I create a male and female. Okay, I create first name, last name, email, and checkbox, radio button. Next I create a command, label for command, so text area, Next, text area and ID will be a text area. Next, label for drop down options. Select and id equal to drop down. Here we have the option. Option 1. Option 1, the option. Okay. Okay. Now I create a input tag. Next I create a button. Next I create a button. Okay, next I create a button for submit and input. So I create a button. Inside button I give type is a button, name will be submit. Second I create a button and type will be a button in a class cancel. Okay, let's run the page. Okay, now the requirement is I think I'm almost complete the requirement. Now now I add some css for this file. So I link the html css file, link rel style sheet href style.css. Okay, go to css link body Now margin. I want to move this move the form to the center of the web page. So I give margin. Margin will be top will be a 40 pixel, right will be 0, down will be 0, and left will be a 490 pixel. Next I give line height. Will be a 20 pixel. Okay. Now it's looking good, right? Line height will be 30. Now okay. Okay. Okay, I create a first name, last name, email, select. This is a checkbox. In radio, we can select either male or female. This is the command. Text area. This is the drop down button to select the option, and I create a two buttons. If user click the button, validate the first name, last name, and email. So now we have write the script. Okay. Okay, body. Here I will suppose will be a script.js. Okay. Okay. First I will get the three element. Okay. First thing have to click means the button will validate the form. So add event to the submit button. So first I will take the ID command dot get element by ID. ID is ID. What ID we give? Yeah, okay. I give a ID for submit and ID for cancel. ID for cancel. Okay. I take the submit, get the ID submit button. Then I add event listener. Add event listener and call the event click. If I click means the function will be called. This function will be called. Okay. Okay. Here I have to validate the first name, last name, and email. This field alone I have to validate. So I take the fields and put it in array. What is first name? We have take the ID. First name, last name. For email is a email. Okay. We take the three ID and put it in array. Okay. Okay. Here first name, last name, email. Next, okay, I take the ID, first name, last name, email, and stored in the variable fields. Now I have to iterate. We have to look. We have to check one by one. So for iterate, I use for each field dot for each, and the function will be field and variable will be field, and so I call the function. Okay, here the fields having a first name, last name, email. Now it will be loop one by one and store it in the field. Okay, three values are stored in the field. Now I get the id, I get the field, so I use constant input equal to document dot get element id. I get the field. Okay, next thing, next next just I we need only the value, first name value, last name value, email value. Okay, let's try. I take the value input dot value dot trim. I call the trim function. Trim will remove the extra space. The condition will be a equal to empty. If input value is empty means I will, if the condition is be true means I call inside the block will be executed. Okay, first thing I want, what thing I want to, first I create a span. So constant const error span equal to document to create a span use to create a span use create element increment. Now we create a span tag. Second, I create a class for the span. So error, the span stored in the error span. So I call error span dot add the class. So I use class list dot add error. Next thing I add a style for the element. Now I add a style error dot style dot color equal to red. The display the, this line display the content in red color. So I use this type. The next one, I create a span and I create a span. Next I create a class error. Next I add the style for the span. Next thing, I want to display the content. So I use error span dot to display the content. We use text content equal to use backticks. right? Inside backticks field, add the field. Here the field is required. Okay, this line what will do, if first name is empty means first name is required. Okay, that what. Okay, next I want to insert the field. Where I have to insert, I have to insert next, next from the next to the input field. I want to display content in this area, in this area. So I use input next elements adjacent, insert adjacent element after end. After end means input after end. After end, what I have to display, error span. So I use the error span. Okay. Okay. First, what are the things I will explain. First, I will add event to the submit button. So document, I get the element ID submit. Then add the event listener. The event will be a click. If I click means call the function. Next, what are the things I want to check? First name, last name, email. So I three things I put it in a fields variable. Next, I need to iterate the three things, checking the three things. So I use field dot for each field. Then I take the field as input variable. Next, I put a condition. If I need only value, input dot value to equal to empty means the function will be executed. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, if I submit the button, the first name is required, last name is required. It worked perfectly. Next thing, if I give yes means the span tag will be removed, right? Now, so I create another variable const existing error. Existing existing error is the next sibling. We have to check, right? We have to check input. We have to check the element will be existing or not. So I use input. This will be a next sibling. So I use dot next sibling. Okay. Else if existing error, and use and operator. Next thing I use exiting error dot class list dot contains error. It will display existing error dot remove. Okay, this condition will be checking the existing error, the error class, the existing error, and existing error contains error means it will be remove. Here I add another condition. If error or existing error dot class list dot contains contain error. Okay, if I first I explain that logic what I write, what I wrote, that logic I will explain. If input dot value trim equal to the value will be a empty. If the value will be a empty means it will go to this if not existing error equal to